Okay, I'm with Leader of the Council, Terry O'Neill. I think we better explain, Terry, if anyone's wondering what the background noise is. There's a bit of an event going on in Bank Park.
Yes, it's part of our strategy to put events on in the park in conjunction with Livewire, and Arthur Chadwick and the Chadwick Fair people are on there until the 21st of August.
So a bit of Warrington by the sea.
Bit of Warrington by the sea, Warrington on the beach, and it's good that we've got this activity going on in the park, and it's maximising the use of our pavilion and New Bowls area as well.
So the message to the people of Warrington during the school holidays is come on down to Bank Park and have some fun.
Come on down to Bank Park, have some fun and enjoy yourselves.
Okay, right, moving on to the serious stuff now, Terry. I spoke to the MP for Warrington South, David Mowat, recently, and during my interview with him, he had quite a very negative comment about the Labour group here at the town hall on devolution and the fact that you've lost the opportunity now for devolution and an elected mayor and being in charge of your own coffers. So I thought it was only fair that you had a right to reply to what the MP for Warrington South had to say about it.
Well, I'd probably thank David for his comments, but I don't think he understood the situation. What basically happened was we've had all-out elections this year. We've also had a European referendum, unfortunately, and it went the wrong way for me. But we also then had a timetable set by the government to put in place a devolution deal or package that included an elected mayor, and we had to do it by the 8th of July or beginning of July. We would then go through a process, and there's a parliamentary procedure that they said they have to adhere to. So therefore we'd have to have elections next May, in May 17. Now that was too much, too little, too late, and it was not enough information. So we've only paused it. We're still talking to civil servants and governments, and I'm pretty confident we can actually set up the best deal for Warrington in the future. At the moment, we didn't have enough information or have ideas of what exactly was happening.
I mean, speaking to people around the town, there seemed to be some split opinion within your own group whether we should be going in with Cheshire and Chester or Merseyside or Manchester. What's your view on that?
My view is I've set a task and finish group up, which is all party, and it's got 5 Labour, 1 Liberal, 1 Conservative. Their task is to report to the exec board by the end of September, and they're looking at all options, whether it's a Cheshire Warrington deal, whether it's a Merseyside deal, whether it's a Manchester deal, or indeed whether we can be self-sufficient and complete our Warrington New City, Garden City, and deliver regeneration ourselves and retain the assets from that regeneration in the town. So there's a lot to play for, and the problem we had was we was being rushed into a decision, and it was too quick and not enough information was given to us.
Well, Mr Mowat, who you'd like to think's pretty knowledgeable in the corridors of power down at Parliament, seems pretty adamant that the door's shut now and there won't be another opportunity in the foreseeable future.
I think there's enough deals. I think there's enough devolution deals that's basically collapsed, as it were. I know that there's 3 or 4 major cities, but you've got Liverpool, Manchester, Sheffield, etc. But there's a lot of county areas that's collapsed, basically, because I don't think they like the timetable and they was being pushed into having an elected mayor. We might end up with some form of elected mayor, but as far as I'm concerned, I think we needed to pause the discussion, get more information, set up a task and finish group, and they then can actually go through all the deals and all the information and then report back to the exec board, and it will go through the due process. How
do you see your vision and dream of Warrington becoming a city actually coming true now?
Well, you see, I can remember going down to see James Wharton, who was the previous Northern Powerhouse Minister. I think me and Andy Fowler went to see him in 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, and we talked about the Warrington New City and completing the new town and the assets we have in the town, realising them assets, gaining the uplift in them assets, and keeping the money to be spent in Warrington, and therefore it would benefit for the town. He was very impressed with our discussion and very impressed with our plans. Then what happened, probably 4 months later, we saw Baroness Williams and then Mr Clark, and they decided, well, actually, if you want this city deal, it has to be part of the devolution package. And we was therefore being pushed into some form of devolution before we made a formal decision about whether we could complete and deliver our new city. Now, the issue with the Cheshire and Warrington deal was that we was looking at our completing a new city. Crewe was going for a HS2 growth, high growth city with the HS2 hub, and Cheshire West and Cheshire was going for a D-side alliance along with North Wales. That now has been paused so we can gain more information from various sectors and partners so that we can make an informed decision. That's all we've done.
And this working party you've set up is across all the parties, is
the
it?
working parties I've set up is all parties, and they will report back to the exec board and then onto a future full council within the autumn. And then we'll make that decision about whether we go with Cheshire and Warrington, whether we go with Liverpool, whether we go with Manchester, or whether we go with a self-contained new city deal that we can actually deliver ourselves.
Will those opportunities not have gone though by then?
No.
You're confident of that?
I'm 100% sure.
So you're quite happy for the MP for Warrington South to hold you accountable for it?
Well, I mean, on about accountability, I'm very accountable for the people of Warrington. I mean, we've run an election in May, that was actually run on our local record of when we took back administration in 2011. And we gained five seats. So the people of Warrington must be relatively happy with the Labour administration in the town because of what we're doing for Warrington in very difficult times. I just remind Mr Mowat that he's got to be accountable as well. And just before the last election, I suspect he didn't think he was going to win it, and Mr Osborne, the previous Chancellor, promised that we'd have free tolls over the Mersey Gateway Bridge. I wrote to him, I wrote to Patrick McLaughlin, who I know he's not there anymore. I wrote to George Osborne, I know he's not there anymore. So I'm going to continue to write to the government to say, are you going to honour your promise? Are we going to get free tolls for the residents of Warrington across the Mersey Gateway Bridge?
Well, I have been pressing Mr Mowat myself, and
he doesn't know.
He's put the same messages in that you have, and he's still waiting for a response. And the people he's written to aren't there anymore.
No, they aren't there anymore, and that's one of the problems we've got because we're in a state of what might be deemed political flux at the moment.
I think you can call it that. Yeah.
And you know, the old guard's gone, the new guard is in place, and we're not sure what their policies are going to be and whether they're going to honour past promises.
Well, one of those other promises was the Northern Powerhouse, and that seems a bit up in the air as well now.
I'm slightly more disappointed with that because I personally think Warrington, whether it's within the new city concept, can contribute to the Northern Powerhouse. We can do it ourselves. In fact, probably 8 months ago, we was at the Hut Group on Amiga, and we was talking to civil servants there, and they said to me, do you mind if we put a Northern Powerhouse sign up on Amiga because it's part of the Northern Powerhouse? And I jokingly said to them, certainly, you can put the start of the Northern Powerhouse, but it might upset Councillor Mayor Anderson. But no, I'm confident. I'm hoping the Northern Powerhouse will stay in situ. I'm hoping it will be delivered, and I'm hoping Warrington can contribute it within whatever way we can. If that's through devolution, fine. If it's not through devolution, then we can deliver it ourselves.
Finally, we're more than a month on from Brexit now. I think, like me, you were quite shocked by the way the referendum went. Has it started to have any impact that you're aware of as far as the Borough Council's concerned?
We are. No, we've not got. We're trying to ascertain as much information as we can. The one thing I'm pretty sure of, though, is that there'll be another round of austerity. I'm pretty sure of that. And in the front line of austerity cuts and measures will be local authorities. We seem to be the easy targets. We seem to be the ones that ministers say, well, right, we'll target them, we'll cut their budgets. And unfortunately, that means we've already had £100 million cut from our budget since 2010. That's in 5 years, 6 years. So I hope we don't get another 100 million cut in the next 4 to 5 years. If we do, I don't know where we're going to go. There's councils, unfortunately Warrington's not one of them because we've been very smart with our assets and our capital side. There's councils that will basically go bankrupt, go out of business, because we can't sustain the amount of cuts that this government's putting on us. And I'm fearful that Brexit will mean another round of austerity, and we'll be in the front line, and that will mean our communities won't get the services they deserve.
Because I mean, you're already under pressure with delivering existing services, things like grass cutting. I mean, it almost doesn't happen now.
Well, the issue is, Gary, apart from the £100 million worth of cuts, we've had pressure on services. Now, what most people don't understand in the town is that 75% of our council tax is probably spent on adult social care, looked after children, children's services, etc. There's only a very small percent, something like 5 to 7%, spent on highways, infrastructure, gullies, grass cutting, etc., etc. So we haven't got the manoeuvrability. We haven't got the room to manoeuvre. We haven't got a budget that we can actually switch around and do anything, because we've got statutory duties to make sure we deliver, and that is, like I say, adult social care, looked after children, children's services, etc. And unfortunately, grass cutting, potholes, gullies, etc. come down. Although we are doing our best to make sure we can manage those services, because I recognise they're the most important ones to our communities in the town.
Well, driving around the town at the moment, there doesn't seem to be any shortage of money for road repairs, because nearly every corner of turnaround there's road works going on at the moment.
We've actually capitalised that. We put a capital budget together. So instead of repairing potholes, we resurface the road instead, which is cost effective. We've also done the same with our lighting. You know, we've got LED lighting now, but we capitalise that and put a capital programme together, so we renew all our lighting. So we are trying to save money, we are trying to make sure our communities feel safe and are safe, and we're trying to make sure the look of the borough is good. But we're under pressure, and I'm fearful that what Brexit will mean will be more pressure on local authorities' budgets.
And when would you expect that to kick in? In time for the next budget next April?
I would think that we'll have an autumn statement that will say that you're being cut by 10% or whatever it is. They've tried to cover it up. They tried to mask it by saying, well, in real terms it's this. I can tell you now, we've had £100 million cut from our revenue budget. That means we've not got the money to spend on our services.
Okay, Terry, well, hopefully it'll be a brighter picture when we meet up later in the year. And thanks for your time.
Okay, thanks, Gary.